So Will and Pam, 12 years ago, you guys came across our path and joined up with us as Josh Jen, bringing your whole family in. And that was arguably one of the most wonderful things that happened to us, because it changed us, changed me, it changed our church. And as 412 began to break open into the nations, you guys were such a key part of that, serving alongside me in an apostolic role and really helping break open New Testament Christianity in nations, drawing churches in. And you've become a father and a mother to so many, even to myself. I think you've become great friends, great lovers of the bride of Christ. And then 8 months ago, you got the news that really shook everything up about William's cancer. And so it might be good. I know across the world, all the churches keep asking, how are you guys? What's the latest news? What is the latest news and how are you guys?
Well, the latest test was I had to have another CT scan because they call it a cancer count. When they test your blood, so they test your liver, which they had taken the chunk out of. He said, my liver is better than a young man's liver. Test your kidneys, said the urea levels are unbelievable. Kidneys are working fine. And there's no sign of any cancer in the CT scan. But the blood count has shown what they call the cancer count has nearly doubled. And when that happened the last time, they did an MRI and they found the cancer in the liver. But it was there. It was plain to see. And he said, with the CT scan, it should be plain to see with this kind of reading. They said, in his mind, he's not overly concerned, but he's not. It's not that he's happy. Those were his words. So he said, we're just going to have to wait till Friday week to have more tests done, a colonoscopy and an MRI, if the blood test warranted. We trust in God that it is as they think. It's inflammation, which can also give that reading from the liver so that the blood count can start coming down. I'm trusting God always, in every way, you know.
As you face death and life and the possibilities of these things, I mean, you mentioned something earlier about the reason for living. And at the end of the day, I know you would say part of why you would love to stay is for kids, but is that it? What would you say is the primary purpose that you guys have, that you want to continue on for Jesus?
Well, I'd have to say it's because we really want to glorify God. That is our ultimate aim. And I mean, like Paul says, whatever you do, whether you live or die, make it your aim to please the Lord. Yeah. And that honestly, that's the point we got to when we asked ourselves, you know, why do we want to live, or why does William want to live? And we got to, that was our conclusion. We really want to live to glorify God, no matter what it takes or where it leads us. That honestly is our heart's desire.
That's beautiful. I love that thing of, as we grow older, we realize it's not about us, it's about Him, it's about His glory, it's about the one who died on a cross for us that don't deserve it. And He gives us this inheritance that's eternal, and it's the goodness and the kindness of our God. And our response as bond servants of Christ is that we would seek His kingdom first above all else, that we deny our lives and even the things that He blesses us with, so that He could get His glory, because He's worth it all. And I think you guys have modeled that so beautifully. And I must say, sometimes suffering is such a gift. It shapes us and it molds us and it makes us more like Him if we yield properly. And I must just commend you too on how you have walked through this and are walking through this. It's beautiful to watch Jesus shining out of a couple and out of a family. And you've written such a beautiful picture of that to us. So thank you for that.
I want to run hard as my strength is so each day. And So I want to, along with Pam and within the context of Josh Gen 412, live the life that He's given us for His glory.
Yeah, and I think just very much that every day is a gift, because the truth is that no one knows what tomorrow holds. And
That's
we
right.
remind one another almost every morning, we've got today. You know, and what are we going to do that's going to make it count for eternity? And who are we going to encourage? And I want to really commend William for that thing of encouraging. There's hardly a day that I don't hear him on the phone. Even when he's been like really weak, he'll pick up the phone and he'll say to me, like, who have you encouraged today? And the word says, encourage one another daily, especially as you see the day of the Lord approaching.
I know Will and I have obviously spent time chatting, and I think as we get older, one of the joys of getting older is that we realize how frail and fragile our lives are, and that, you know, we're trusting the Lord's going to give you an extended period of time, but at the same time, we just don't know. There's this uncertainty, which must be so difficult for you guys to process. But I know just facing death and realizing, oh my goodness, this could be it. It does cause us to reevaluate our lives, what we do. In some ways, it's a beautiful gift because it does help us to really get before God and process that. And I mean, facing those things, what would be things that you would say, why? I know you process death and then maybe that you're supposed to continue. Why? What is the point of living? What is the point of our life? And if you, knowing that there might, you know, certainly that those days are coming close, what would you say to the churches and to the saints out there?
I'd say give it your best shot. We've got one life. It says only one life to live and it'll soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. And to take hold of that and to just think of Paul's words to the church where he said, be steadfast, immovable, abounding in the things of God. Knowing this, Andrew, your labor of love not in vain. And I think that's for all of us.
Well, we certainly across the churches want to ask for now that we would get before the Lord and really seek God on behalf of Will and Pam and the family for courage. I know Will once, I think Will's in South Africa with these legendary cars called Toyotas, and they can't die, they just keep going. And Will's been one of those Toyota Land Cruisers. He just keeps on keeping on, keeps on serving the churches. And so we want to pray for courage, which however this runs, that the Lord would give you courage, but also that the cancer count would go down and that there'd be a good report from the doctors. And so please, in the meantime, if we could ask the churches just to begin to pray for that. We will get obviously news probably in about a week's time, and hopefully it'll be good news, and we will let the churches know across the world. But for now, let's hold up a mom and a dad who've just been an incredible gift to all of us. You know, they've poured out their lives for the churches. They've been such a model, people that we can imitate as leaders. And let's get before the Lord across our churches, seek God for them, and trust for a good report from the doctors that God has come through and that they are able to run with us for many years still until the Lord returns, or
That'll be wonderful.
that day finally comes when we go to see with Him. So thank you for watching. Thanks, Will and Pam.
Thank you.
And we'll let you guys know the latest news as we become aware of it. And bless you guys.